There's been a lot of ink. You talked about packaging the battery. There's been a lot of ink about this Israeli-American company that's got a robot that you'll come in and just get a new battery as quickly as you can now get a new tank of gas.
Better place.
As I understand it, that would require essentially a standardized place that everybody would need to agree on the size and shape of the battery and where it would be. Do you see any likelihood that there will ever be that kind of standardization with electric vehicles?
It sounds
And would this be an awful thing for designers?
well, I mean, it sounds like a good idea on paper. I run out of range, just stop at the dealership and pull my 400-pound battery pack out and put another one in. That's not as convenient as filling the car up with gasoline today, which is the paradigm today. So, I mean, I guess in certain areas that might work, certain urban settings, but I really, personally, I don't feel that that's going to be a mainstream solution until we get to the point where battery range, power and energy in the battery storage has gone up to a point where the range is beyond 100, 150 miles. I think that's still a pipe dream at this point.
Yeah, I mean, the problem, you said it yourself, is you have to standardize. And one thing we don't want to do too much of in the car industry, you don't want to standardize to the point where you can't see the difference between cars. And, a very important point for a car designer is the proportions. And if they're already standardized because of a certain platform, and by the way, I've seen this system, and, you can clearly see it's not really done by people who understand the industry in depth. And therefore, it will be very difficult to implement unless you have 3 or 4 car companies that supports it. Then it's possible.
Yeah, I think it also depends on the actual specific technology you're talking about. It to me, sounds like a metal air technology that can be done in many different ways. And there are some interesting proposals out there where basically a Coca-Cola vending machine-sized apparatus is what is now exchanging the zinc, if it's a zinc air battery, to your battery and back out. And they're little tiny pellets of metal, so they flow like a liquid. And so it can be done pretty effectively. And these things could be distributed not just to gas stations today. They could be in parking lots, and they could be distributed around urban areas pretty easily. So it depends a lot on how these individual companies sees the opportunities here. And metal air batteries aren't here yet. I personally believe they will be one of the forthcoming future technologies that will arrive eventually. And they have a lot of great benefits. The lithium that's in the lithium ion today, it's not a completely issue-free substance. So there are things we have to deal with regarding lithium.